All right, hello, math. I'm a huge fan. My name is Sprinklebeard. So let's talk about this routing proposition I have for you. The quick version of this is everything you see in red is the rosary count. Anything yellow is kind of like a place of notice that we're going to talk about. But yeah, here's my rosary route that I have cooked up. So from the start, right, we're going to come up here. We're going to get that first mossberry. That's perfectly fine. We're going to ignore the frayed rosary string for now. We're going to get it later. We're going to come up here, get the second mossberry, come over, kill Moss Mother because you're great at that. Then we're going to circle back around, go through our bone bottom, come up through the bone or the marrow, whatever this area is called, and we're going to get those 60 rosaries. Now, I have a save file set up here to kind of demonstrate this of me being up here. So we are getting these 60 rosaries, and then this is where I think things will deviate. Obviously, if this frayed rosary string is worth it for you to get early, if you don't like the rest of the route, you'll get it early, and that will change everything I'm about to say. But we're recorded-wise, I have a spot right here, and we're going to be talking about after getting this very first 60 rosaries in that hidden room as our starting point. So, moving forward, what we're going to do is we're going to come up after the Beastfly Pogo. And if we come to the right, there's a rock over here. Now, I stand at the edge of the rock and I hit it with single slashes. I do not mash because if you do your double strike attack, it's like every time you swing, there's a first swing and a second swing. The second swing is slightly longer and therefore will cause some of the rosaries to bounce off of a ceiling and potentially go into the spikes. And I've had fivers do this. Obviously, if you're like, as long as I get 30 from this rock, it's good enough. But I don't like that. I'm somebody that likes to collect everything. Now, roughly my times, and I'm going to do a quick run of this to show it towards the end of this video. So, skip to the end of the video if you want to just see the physical run. But this is about 15 seconds for me to walk from the Beastfly Pogo to the right to get to this rock and farm it. And then about 10 seconds to come back across the top of the room to get back to where you would be from the Beastfly Pogo so that you're back to neutral again, right? So I'm calling that up here in the upper left a 25-second time loss. From here, we're going to go from Chakra. We're going to go up through this room. We're going to go straight up to Silk Spear. Again, I'm not a speedrunner. I'll demonstrate to the best of my ability. It's not bad. It's just not going to be math or like blue SR levels of speedrun. From Silk Spear, here is my proposition. We're going to go to the left over here to a frayed rosary string. I believe it's about 15 seconds. Everything I'm about to talk about is about 60 seconds of time spent doing. We're going to come over here. We're going to get a frayed rosary string. Then we're going to come down and get this command here. That's my number 5. From here, we have two options. We could either go to the left or go straight down. We're going to talk about each of them. We're going to talk about the downward first because I think this has a lot better potential for your speed run. So we're going to drop straight down. We're going to go to the right. Ideally, I would think for the speed run, you would fall through the screen transition, pogo right to the elevator. Because I don't want to mess it up, I'm going to take the safety route. However, from what I remember, the screen transition to land on the elevator is like 100% safe. So we're going to land here. Right above the elevator is 30 rosaries. Here you could also unlock the elevator itself so that if you want to go back up, you could. Or if you want this as a skip for later, you could. The other thing that I think is worth noting on this route is that you could come down here and get this mossberry. I'm going to give it my best attempt. I'm very good at it, but not perfect at it. And I think this would add a huge level of RNG. But if you stop for the 30 rosaries up here, this mossberry is always in the upper right-hand corner here. It's underneath the third platform like clockwork. So I want to be able to show that off as best I can. But then we'd be able to fall down to Bone Bottom, get our brooch. And that's where I would say that you could do the save and exit, and it will take you right back up to Silk Spear. However, I think for maximum value here is if we go back to this elevator shaft, we drop down, you can come in here, get the 30 rosaries from that chest, and then drop down again, get that frayed string at this point because you're already falling back down, and get the frayed string. And then we're going to save and exit back up to Silk Spear. I think this is the best routing that I can mention. If you unlock the elevator, you can obviously come up here and get 35 rosaries. And then there's the magic spindle thingy. And then you could go straight to Bell Beast by cutting up through, like up underneath the chakra, like back through Chakra's room, back up to Bell Beast. However, at that point, you're skipping Druid, and I don't know if that is valuable. So that's where I have mixed feelings about this, or this is where having more mobility might be better for you. I'm going to back up a little bit right before I demonstrate this. So the other thing that we could do that I was talking about is up here at number 5, after we get the Coral Command, you can pogo straight across and land outside the Craggler's hallway. And there's a rock here that has about 28 or like 30 rosaries. I got consistently 28, so I'm going with 28. And then if you fall from here, we can then pogo, heal pogo over here to, there's 25 on a dish. I'm consistently only getting like 20 to 24, to be honest with you. So I want to stress that this is a small variable number. But then you get the Weaver Effigy. And then again, you can either pogo down all the way across to get Brooch, and then, you know, come down here, do all this again, and then exit back up to the top. But at this point, you're trading kind of a different 30 rosaries. Like, you know, here you're getting 25, and getting a Weaver Effigy for later. So this depends on what is most advantageous to you. The reason that I mentioned this Mossberry here is that if you are able to get this Mossberry is an extra 137 to 170 rosaries, I believe. We're going to demonstrate that here in a second. So let's go ahead and try the run to the best of my ability. I'm going to turn that off. Everything looks good on my end, so let's give it a shot. So again, where I am currently, I need to transition. Where I am at currently is I am right above where we get the 60. So there's Beast Fly. I already did the pogo. So we're going to go up. So 1, 2. Obviously, look, there's a timer at the bottom of the screen, so nothing can happen this. But 100% hit that switch. Now here with this rock, I like to stand at the edge. There you saw one of the rosaries went above my head into the rocks. So I haven't flawlessly designed that to get every rosary every time, but losing a 1 is not bad. Losing the 5 feels bad. But Pushanka
Kietska
mash through our text. But yeah, as you can see, I'm at 99 rosaries at this point. So already you're in a very good spot. I think even just that rock would help your rosaries at the beginning. However, we do want to talk about getting to the... I'm expecting that. Getting you Brooch as quickly as possible, right? Oh no! I'm terrible at that skip. So we'll get Silk Spear. Now, Silk Spear, I think, is super advantageous to getting the other Mossberry. Like, in terms of consistency, I would say it's like 90% consistent to get it with the Silk Spear because we're just so used to aiming Silk Spear. You are a speedrunner, so I think that the pogo, like if you needed to pogo it, or if you used your silk on something else, you know, it doesn't matter as much. But here we'll get frayed Rosarie String. Come back here, get our commandment. the coral commandment. I keep thinking they're bone commandments. I'm going to take the safety way. Again, if you fall to that left there, you 99% get onto this ledge. I'm just too afraid to skip it since I'm recording a video for you and I don't want to waste your time. But here's 30 rosaries as well, so we're all set up. I'm going to try to show off Mossberry. So he's there. Excellent. So get the extra Mossberry. And we have enough rosaries to instantly buy Magnetite Brooch. I previously, or when I'm playing, because I'm doing a lot of Steel Soul runs, I instantly rest at this bench. But for you as a speedrunner, I found like the much cooler tech of, well, we can just come down here. And I don't know if these 30 are worth your time. I would say that this feels a little out of the way. And it's obviously the chest has its consistency of being a chest. But then fall down here and then you can get this here. And of course, the moment we pick up, we save and exit and just jump back in. But falling back down for those, and like, again, this is up to you for your divination. But that was, you know, everything that we needed. So here we have 2 rosary strings, Magnetite Brooch, and we're at 37 rosaries, right? We're back up at Silk Spear at this point. I think that this could potentially save you a lot of your headache. And then we'll come down here to get this dude, which I didn't properly, you know, count for my silk, but you know, you'll figure that out. You're the smart maths. You're the calculus. But let's turn this in. Oh my gosh, not having this in Chinese math. If only I knew how to play this game in non-English. But so we'll get our Druid Eye, especially for the 100% run. But this Mossberry is something I heavily rely on for when I'm doing a new run and going for Wanderer's Crest right away. You can get up to 500 so incredibly fast. And 500 while getting Magnetite Brooch ready. So we have to talk to him 2 more times to get this Mossberry, or to give off Mossberry. But there I got 131, so it's not exact. But at this point, we have our 2 charms. We have 168. You know, like this to me, I think, makes a lot of sense. Now, in terms of time, I said it was about 90 seconds. I think redoing all of that, it is probably closer to 2 minutes. So 2 minutes across your 6-hour run. Or I'm sorry, you said estimating 7-hour run today. You know, that's up to you to decide. I just want to show off the other thing because I find it super fascinating. So we're just going to gain our silks real fast. Magnetite, I love you so much. But so if we got that Silk Spear, we come down, we get that Frayed Rosary, we come out here to get the Soul Commandment. If you wanted a slightly different path, but this is wildly consistent, you just pogo over, and then we get to this rock here. So yeah, 28 rosaries. And then obviously we do the pogo, heal pogo. Don't slash an extra time. But yeah, some of the rosaries can fall off, so I don't know how much I love this. But you do get Weaver Effigy, which could be a nice little bank for later. I normally get these 2 things after Pip, specifically. Or Tip. Tip and Pill. Whatever one's right above you. As you're falling down, you can get that rock. And then you can fall down again and then get the Weaver Effigy at that point. I think is super consistent. And then it is 7 pogos to get over here. Or at that point as well, you have dash, so you can run and dash off that ledge and get a lot further. If you only do 6 pogos, you'll end up falling into the pit. so be careful about that unless it's intentional. But if you made your way across that ledge, if that Weaver Effigy is more valuable to you, you could Weaver Effigy, come over here, get Brooch, jump down the hole, and then again, we save and quit out and go right back up to Silk Spear. I think this has really cool implications for you. I hope it is helpful. If it is not, thank you for watching. Really cool concept.